Hello everyone, this is a Hearthstone 2025 Chinese Qualifier World Championship recap. So we already have the 12 players from the Europe and APAC region that have qualified to the World Championships, and all that remains is the 4 Chinese players. Unfortunately, no American players qualified this time around. And the final Chinese qualifier begins today, featuring the defending champion Yan Ming, the meme lord Zhu Qianyu, and some other very good players that you may face on high legend ladders, such as Xiao Ti, Sif, or Lovestar. And the first stage started just today. It was streamed on MacBanterface's channel, thanks to whom we have all the footage. And I'm here to bring you guys the recap of the games. So the first game that I wanted to show you was Proyun versus
What's the name
Lovestorm
of the
as
shaman
game
player?
4 of the
Lovestorm.
series. Oh god, I am sorry. I did not mean to listen to banter here. Uh, so, this is a warrior versus shaman. Let me just post this up, and we have the mulligans here. So, the we already, I think, have the Shaman Mulligan done with location and Hagafa, which is probably the strongest play that the Shaman can make. And the Warrior Mulligan, we definitely keep the quest in this matchup. And we are probably keeping Shield Block just because it's like the only thing we can do on turn 2. Sometimes you can coin New Heights on coin, but that's only if you have Elise. And then we will... And then there is a decision on whether to keep Brawl or Invader. Keeping Proyon decides to keep the Invader for the clear. That is okay, and mulligans into the New Heights, so he also has one of the best hands possible for the Warrior here. Yeah, the early turns go pretty scripted, pretty quickly. Lovestorm is obviously gonna play the Hagafa, get his 5, 6, or 7 cost spells from it. It gets the Frosty Decor and the Fowls. Meanwhile, Proyon ramps. And this is probably going to be the first real decision point that we have is this turn for Proyon. And I think he's going to stop here for a while. So, the decision is you could either play the Hostile Invader, coin out the Shield Slam, or you could maybe even not Shield Slam. You could just play Hostile Invader coin to clear, or you can play Ancient of Yore. And the thing about this situation is there is no play in the entirety of the Shaman deck on turn 5 that does not die to Hostile Invader, Safety Goggles, Shield Slam your own Invader on the next turn, which would be a full clear also, which are also the resources that you would be spending on this turn if you were to play the Hostile Invader. So you could... so it is probably better here to just play the Yor, get your 2 cards, get your 6 armor. Yes, you take, 13 damage for that, so you actually probably take 7 to draw the 2 cards, but the 2 cards might be extremely valuable. So this is what I would do, and we will see in a moment that Proyun will make a different decision here to just play the Invader and coin out the Shield Sum on the 5/5, which is a little bit problematic because then you play into the Furious Fowls from Hagafa that you know are very likely to be in hand for the opponent, which is exactly what's going to happen here. And now Proyun is still in the awkward position because you can't play this Invader Goggles because the Goggles costs mana, where it really shouldn't, or where you really don't want it to, and you have to play the Yor here and take even more damage. And now Lovestorm has a good play. He can equip the weapon instead of playing into the Invader turn, which is probably the maximum punish that you could get for this play. Yeah, now we commit the second Invader clear because we have to, because we are very, very, very low. And now this is, I think, a pretty important decision on the Shaman turn. So the Shaman obviously kills the Invader, and the question on what to do here is not obvious at all. Yeah, so there is an Elise Turbulus, which immediately strikes out, but you could also play a Living Flame and a Frosty Decor. That is probably less power, though, so I think you just are supposed to opt for the Elise and the Turbulus here. Yeah, just the only two options that spend mana. It is hard for the Shaman to clear the board here. Hey, Furion does something different. He goes with lots of minions. I don't really quite understand that. I guess he wants to have the A-dates ready for the next turn, which is why he really wanted to play the Murlocs. I think I would much rather have the Elise location ready. Just, I think you gotta keep playing for tempo in a matchup like this. And I guess Elise was less power than these minions. Yeah, I'm not really a Shaman expert, so can't really judge that well. Yeah, Pryan, that's basically the only play that he can make. You can't really use these brawls on a tiny board like this. But then the next turn becomes very, very awkward because you're just sitting with these brawls in hand and you don't really want to brawl this. Like, you would really like to have that shield slam that we used on 2 turns ago. And we just, like, can't really do it because, like, you could, I mean, you could play the 1 mana gain 10 and brawl, but it's just not gonna be very good. So we decide to Ziliax instead. We again get the worst case scenario of the opponent having their own Ziliax and being able to push damage through it. And now we have a very awkward position where we absolutely have to brawl this board, otherwise we will just explode. But this is a problem of, well, this Yor is going to be stranded in our hand a lot. And we're just not going to be able to draw the cards that we need. Maybe we even needed to Yor on that board and play the Bulwark plus safety goggles and try to stay alive because we desperately need to get these cards. Now the opponent opens up with the Flight of the Firehawk, which again I'm like a little skeptical of. But I suppose you could just play the Elise, play the Bellhops, since this Bulwark is going to be blocking the Ziliax damage anyway. They opt again for some different play, where I don't really understand why we played the pop-up book here. Since it like didn't actually push damage. Yes, it finished off the Bulwark, but that didn't really have any significant meaning. I guess the Bulwark was kind of good at cleaning up our own Ziliax with Dracorex, so I could see that as the reasoning. And now Loftstorm has a decision to make here. And again, this is a little bit of a hard one because we are kind of committing to making this weapon as big as possible. We want to find something of birdwatching. I think there are only 2 possible things that we can find of birdwatching between Shatter and Moradin. So we could take the we could just take the Shatter and play it, but it seems extremely slow to do it. This Elise has been in our hand for a while, and we still also have not played it, so that kind of asks us to do it, to play it. And we also want to play the Bellhops, so I think in order to figure this out, to put all the things together, to have them work well, Loftstorm will take the Moradin and uh, shuffle this weapon back into his deck, then play a very large Moradin and play the Bellhops just to maximize the stats on board. Proyun is unlikely to have a clear after you've seen the brawl, and you want to be pretty good into the quest. What this does run into trouble with is it activates for Glory for 0 mana, which Proyun does have as a punish, and we would like to... and now Proyun again needs to figure out something. Like, it looks like a brawl that you might like kind of have to brawl. Again, there was another play before we brawled here, where we could just play the Great Dracorex and 2 mana deal free on the Moradin. In order to clear the Moradin, leaves 2 6/1s on the board. Now, at least it is a clear that doesn't require playing the brawl. Though we would get hit by the hammer for 14 plus 6, so that's 26, leaving us at 12 life, which is not particularly comfortable with no armor gain in hand. It would just leave the Amara as the out. So Proyon decides to go for the quest instead and hope that the quest rewards will save them. And now the Loftstorm continues with the hammer plan. He's going to hammer again and play the Elise. This is very weak to Amara, notably. And takes a location which we didn't see. I think this is copy attack with the Alakir in hand, which represents a ton of damage and makes it so that Proyon has to go fast. Right? Like once you see the Elise, you kind of know from the warrior perspective that there is going to be a massive amount of damage represented by the shaman, especially after you saw 2 minions from birdwatching, right? So those two combined probably lead, and we actually have the graphic here from the Chinese team is telling us that this is a 10-10 location of +4 attack. So once you've seen all of those things, you know that there is an Alakir, you know there is a location, you know there is like a 50 damage combo probably coming down at you if you let them set it up, and you can't really armor out of range of that very well. Therefore, you need to do something that pressures the shaman. I don't think you can put 35 on board, but you can definitely threaten lethal with Time Warp. And you do want to clear this Elise too. There is a chance that this Precursory Strike draws you Amara, in which case you would like maybe get out of range of the lethal combo over 2 turns. We go for the Elise here instead to try to clear out their Elise. I really wanted to Barnabas, but I guess it's kind of hard to do it in this position. Like I don't like how little power this is into the location. Now we need to be desperate. Like we need to be really, really worried about this Alakir coming down, and I think that kills us even if we get Amara. So the only real out for Proyon here is playing this Marin, going for Wondrous Wand, and finding Time Warp from the wand in order to get lethal, which is there are 10 cards in the deck, you shuffle 3, so that's a 3 and 14 out, and he gets it in order to stay in the series and win this game. This series will get decided later in a Shaman Mirror, but we won't be covering that. Instead, we will go to a different game. This is a game 1 of... this is not Loftstorm, this is actually Yanming at the top and Tri-Spear at the bottom. And this is Discover Hunter versus Cyclorogue. Discover Hunter is a deck that we won't see a lot in this tournament, mostly because it is the best deck, it is the most popular bring, and it's also the most banned deck in the tournament. So I expect it to have around 70 to 80% ban rate, realistically. And Cyclorogue has been the highest performing deck, I think, in the tournament so far. And going up against the Tyrant, the best deck, we'll see how that goes. So the Hunter full keeps here with Scarab, Birdwatching, and Neri. I am a little bit questioning the Scarab just because you can get some better card. Like, Scarab is a fine card. Yeah, it's like a fine card to have in the mulligan, but it's not really what you're looking for in this Hunter deck. Like, the Hunter deck heavily relies on the Sylvanas sisters that we got from the new expansion, and Nayel in order to find your powerful options as well as alien encounters. The Yanming hand is looking pretty good with Preparation on the far left, Platysaur in the middle, and Dubious Purchase that you can use on with the Preparation to clear out a relatively large free cost minion that Hunter tends to play in the early game. Yeah, this Platysaur is going to run play really well into the Scarab. threatening a value trade, and Hunter really does not have the tools to remove early minions like this. It's most of the removals comes from the Sylvanas, which is a large AoE that you want to kind of save for later until it's ramped up and until you can play it with Youthful Brewmaster so that you can keep on replaying the AoE and dealing face damage to the enemy. So it definitely struggles with just removing a 1-2 like this. So Trispear here could play the jungle gem that he got from the Scarab and remove the Splatty, but I think progressing the game plan is more important with playing the bird watching. Making these encounters cheaper and finding the sisters so that we can get on board. And now this is already a pretty powerful looking turn from Yan Ming because we top deck this Shadow Step so we can get the Phoenix down relatively quickly. And he starts by prepping the map. We don't really get to see the options, but there is a Twisted Web Weaver. And now we have, well, a relatively large board for this stage of the game, right? The opponent already played a 2-3 and a 3-2 and drew 2 cards. And this already might demand the answer here with Sylvanas. Otherwise you just take a lot of chip damage. The Sylvanas comes down. It is very unfortunate to play it here because you might lose it forever if the opponent has Dubious Purchase. But I don't really think that you have a choice. So yeah, this is what plays directly into Yan Ming's hand. And the Web Weaver stays on board, and again, Trispear does not really have a way to remove this Web Weaver. So this is, I think, one of the more important turns of the game, because Trispear is 1 mana off of going Neri with tracking, which gives you 2 discovers, and then playing Alien Encounters. So you could set that up for the next turn, or you could do it now with Neri and tracking. Or you could just do Neri and tracking now and hope that this Neri stays around and not play around the second Dubious Purchase. You see the 8-card hand from the Rogue, so you probably know that the Rogue will have a relatively powerful turn here, right? Because the deck that benefits from playing a lot of cards in hand, it has to happen, right? So I think, but most of the powerful turns from Rogue here are developing turns. There could be a Dubious Purchase number 2 if we decide to play this Neri. It's unlikely though because we've already seen one, and it also needs an activator if we've already seen a prep. So it only, like, even if there is a Doobie, it needs to come either with a Wisp or with one of the 2 preps. Or I suppose a Shadow Step, but Yan Ming really doesn't want to use the Shadow Step on the Web Weaver. So I would probably opt for playing the Neri with the tracking here, taking a risk. Because I think if we do a slow setup turn, we will just explode to what the Rogue is trying to do. Trispear is going to think for a little bit here and not go with the Neri. He is just going to go with a setup turn of double tracking plus something that he can find from tracking, I suppose. So that he can go Neri with 1 mana encounters next turn. Yeah, so this is gonna be a Pupil, and is this gonna be a Jungle Gym to try to snipe a Web Weaver? I think so. That's a 50-50, and that's your best bet as killing this large card draw engine that the Rogue has set up the previous turn. Which does work, but this is still not going to stop Yan Ming from having a very powerful turn here. As we already have a Cultist map and Eat the Imp, a Wisp to all draw cards, and Yan Ming also finds the second Web Weaver, which he can use to draw cards with the Wisps, with the Phoenix, and it does look like Rogue is running out of mana to do things, but he really isn't. And this is another large board that Trispear has to deal with, and there is no Sylvanas anymore to deal with it with an AoE. So this is looking like trouble. We are going to do the turn that we planned with Niri double encounters and throw in the Scarab at the end. We don't want to discount the encounters by playing the Scarab first, because then we would have less 2-force on the board, since Niri only duplicates spells that cost exactly 1. But now Yanming will do a really strong turn, since there is another Web Weaver on the board. There are going to be a lot of asteroids. Only 9 cards in the deck, so these asteroids are very likely to be drawn. Not exactly sure about the way Yanming is ordering this, because I think you would like the asteroids to hit the same minion multiple times. So I'd probably make the trades of Fritos and Wisps into the 2-force first. But Yanming decides to do that in the other order, and he is the world champion after all. So maybe that's not too bad either. The everything must goes will cost 0 after this. So they will both hit the... Oh no, there's only... No, there are 2. So they'll both hit the board, and that will mean large minions that Hunter, again, cannot really deal with. One of them is the Mage Tourist, Rayla, which did not really see much play in Mage, but it does summon random 2-drops with Divine Shield. And that 2-drop happens to be a Dirty Rat, which is really, really hard to deal with. And Trispear did get to stick the Neri on the board, but unfortunately for him, that Neri is not going to do very much. He can get a Mixologist Potion, which will get doubled up with Neri, which activates the Mixologist. Oh yeah, it's a valid point that he could have eaten the 6/6 and full cleared. I'm not exactly sure how valuable that is. It probably is very worthwhile. I completely missed that. Because the Neri is probably still scary, even though the Hunter Hunt does not look particularly big. The Resurrect with deal 3, with deal 2 did not end up being that great here, and yeah, this is just going to be trouble, because this 6/6 will AoE the Hunter's board, and Trispear just gives up, actually. Does not want to continue playing this game with an empty hand like this. He decides to just forfeit, and the Hunter loses. Something that you don't get to see in these tournaments very often. But the Rogue has been very strong throughout the day. And the final game that I like to cover was this Warrior versus DK. This is Tianming versus Loftstorm. This is game 5 of their series. And yeah. The Hunter did underperform for the day, I think. So maybe we will see more Hunter in the future, actually. I don't expect it much, but we will see how it goes. Alright. So this warrior we've already seen try to survive until the quest, gain lots of armor, then kill the opponent with the quest, versus the Death Knight, which tries to just play minions on curve, get corpses, then spend corpses and do powerful plays of Exarch, Maladar, Corpse Giant, and push a massive amount of damage with Foam Render and the Least Location, which is particularly good with the Death Knight hero power to deal with the to just run the opponent out of health. And this looks like a relatively weak opening hand from both of them. The Tianming did find a creature, but he didn't have a 1-drop. Loftstorm did not have his ramp. Here Loftstorm goes for... This was actually, again, a significant decision. These decisions of Yor versus Invader are a little tough always. You could have Invadered and then safety goggled to clear the Falric leave a 4-1 up, but again, the Death Knight plays don't really play around the Invader for AoE, and Tianming is not going to miss 7 to leave you with armor, or 10 damage, I guess. And having an Invader on the board is really good into the Husk turn. So we are going to start off with the Yor. And now Tianming needs to make a turn, which seems rather difficult here because these spells don't really do much of development, and equipping the weapon feels kind of bad. So he makes just a leech to spend manas, gain corpses. The Falric did gain quite a bit of corpses. I think this was 5 corpses from the Falric that we got extra. It's quite a big deal for this form render that is probably about to come down, hit the Invader after going face with the 4-1. We do not have much board or even hit face. And that is even more damage coming to the Warrior's way. And we are just going to continue pushing 5 every turn and have the Warrior figure out how to deal with it. Elise is a very clutch pickup, a very strong card in this deck. It does seem better than the Marin just because the Elise location takes, like, it generates so much value, but it also takes so much time to get it set up. And we got Raptors and Armor helping us clear while staying alive against this foam render. Yeah, again, the Husk not very good on this board, so we have to find like some alternative play that will clear the Warrior minions, or for the most part clear them. But we are getting the Warrior extremely low. Now the Warrior has a very, very clean turn with the location clearing a lot. And he was debating whether he wants to weave here or draw cards, but drawing cards drawing into our armor is better. Especially the Death Knight might actually struggle to go wide on the board. And now the Death Knight did pick up this Alakir with a Shaladrasil in hand, so that already is a setup for a very large combo burst. So what we are looking at is just how to continue pushing damage, maintaining the board, keeping the Warrior busy, while we set up this Shaladrasil Alakir combo. It would be really nice if we pick up a 9-drop soon, so that we can corrupt this Shaladrasil, so that playing out the Shaladrasil card is stronger. Yeah, we just do a board development with Husk, threatening again. The Warrior is at 15, but that is like, Warrior can hang around low and still gain a crazy amounts of armor every turn and get out of this position, even if you're pressuring it like this in foam render. I think any other deck would collapse under the pressure already, but the Warrior is just so strong at gaining the armor. And having the very clean answer to the Hideous Husk also helps quite a lot with the Great Dracorex. Now the Ysera comes down. The Ysera is actually quite an annoying minion to deal with in a lot of these games. Just because it has so much health and it's so difficult. Like, it's not even difficult to find a way to clear it, but it's just difficult to... it's just you don't want to commit the resources. Like, Loftstorm ends up playing the Zilliax, which gets met with a Zilliax from Tianming as well. Or a Shaladrasil even, which is better here. Which Tianming was able to empty the hand for. The Dracorex also goes away with the shuffle. And now the Warrior is actually looking in quite a bit of trouble. At 16, and the Alakir combo set up, which the Warrior really has no idea of knowing. So the Alakir combo does 16 damage with the foam render, that's 21, 22 with the hero power. So this is actually the exact lethal setup against just the location click by Tianming here. Yeah. So the Warrior has no way of knowing about this. So he might just go for like a play that doesn't really play around it. Fortunately for him, the natural play is here probably either Ham or Sulfuras. Sulfuras allows for the double hero power, which will keep him out of range of the combo by 2, I think. Tianming does not find the 2 damage off the top. And now, yeah, the combo does not work. So we need to... We can't really play the Giant Alak here, I think. Although, I mean, the warrior could have a shield slam, but then it needs to gain armor for the shield slam. Maybe the Giant Alak here is actually not that bad, because what is the warrior going to do about it? He opts to do with a different development play of the Zilliax plus sister. And the warrior top decks the Amara, which will close the game. Yeah, I am actually kind of surprised that that the Death Knight has not gone for the Alakir combo there. It's really hard to get enough armor to shield slam down this Alakir for the warrior there. You could maybe trade the 8/8 into it, but that still has 12 HP. Yeah, I don't really know. Yes, the Death Knight will play a little bit on still, but the warrior at 40 HP has a Time Warp in hand already. Will set up a large damage combo to close the game out. Yeah, so this game goes on for a little bit, but it's not really meaningful. The Tianming does find the good location, which pushes a lot of damage again with... Oh no, he doesn't. He finds the copy and airlock breach, which again allows you to copy the hero power for 10 damage, but not quite the attack location that you're actually really looking for. And yeah, Lofstern just needs to find a way to clear, which he does by copying the Ceaseless, or freeze the board really, just to not take a lot of damage, which will happen. The Marin comes down, and yeah, this is just going to be game, I think, this turn with the Time Warp. Between Time Warp and Wand, you probably just can even like go for it with the Ceaseless, which is what Yanming does. Copy Alec here is 20. It's like almost 40 damage. With the weapon is 41. So the Death Knight was actually threatening a lethal here next turn, but it didn't really matter because the warrior was most of the time going to get a lethal here with a Sulfurous already equipped and the Time Warp. Yeah, so that's going to that series is going to go to Loftstorm, and now that is going to be all of the games that I wanted to show, and I wanted to also show you guys the standings, which I had somewhere over here. Huge thanks to OnCrowd, by the way, for making this spreadsheet. For Group A, Group B plays tomorrow, and Group B we have Ju Chen Yu with a fun lineup. Oh god. Okay, and we have on the top of the leaderboard Loftsarm with 2 wins, going really strong, being able to beat both Proyun and Tracepeer today. Struggling down in last is Proyun, looking to bounce back. The defending champion Yanming is at 1-1, and we'll keep track of the Group A again on Wednesday when they play again. Tomorrow we will have a little bit of a more non-standard lineups with 2 Quest Mage players, an Aviana Druid player, and a Drunk Paladin player coming in, and a Peddler DH. So I'll try to showcase a lot of those decks. And for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and check out MacBanterface. That is broadcasting these tournaments every day. I think every round starts at 3 p.m. Beijing time, which is 8 a.m. Central European time, which is 10 p.m. West Coast time. And yeah, stay tuned for the recap tomorrow. I'll catch you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.